Hi Stampers, I'm Nancy Novak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, this is my second card that I'm going to be making using the Blueberry Bunches stamp set, and I'm going to use the perennial postage dies with today's card too. Actually, I have two projects for you tonight. I have a card and then a really cool tag, a gift tag. So let me bring in today's card. So this card was inspired by one of my previous cards, but with a little twist. This is the card that inspired me, but instead of using designer series paper, I opted for Blueberry Bushel and white cardstock, and then I created a little patchwork pattern with the postage dies. Isn't that pretty? I just love it. I love the colors. So let me bring in the supplies for today's card, and we'll get started really quick. So I have a card base of white, and inside I have Blueberry Bushel and white. And for the front, I have Blueberry Bushel and black and boho blue. And then I went ahead and I cut out 3 white postage dies and 3 Blueberry Bushel. And I used the smallest die. So I use this one right here. I believe that's like 1 7/8 inches. That's how big that square is. But don't worry about the sizes because I always include a project sheet with my projects. So you can find my project sheets on my blog. If you scroll down below this video in the description, you'll see blog or you'll see project sheet, and that'll take you right there. Plus, there'll be a nice big picture of today's project. So make sure you check that out, and that'll have all of your sizes and supplies and shopping links. And if you shop with me, that's my host code, and thank you so much. I appreciate it. So let's get to making this card. I also have a scrap of white to stamp our image. So let me bring in a scrap, and I'm going to stamp that in Memento black ink. And I'm stamping the smaller of the images. There's 2 blueberry images, and I'm going to stamp this one right there. Okay, that's that. I'm going to bring in a scrap of white, and I'm going to color this in with my Stampin' Blend markers. And I have light balmy blue, and I have light and dark Blueberry Bushel, and light and dark Old Olive. So I'm going to go ahead and color this in, and I'm going to fast forward through most of it, so it'll go by really quick. But before I do, let's talk a little bit about Stampin' Up! Stampin' Blends. First of all, they come in really, really great colors. They're very easy to blend. They're alcohol based, so that makes their blending really, really easy. They have dual tips, so you can do fine, intricate little designs, or you can cover a larger space with the other end. So again, they're alcohol based, which means they dry really quick, and there's minimal streaking since they dry so quick, so that's very helpful. They're just easy to use, and lastly, they go with all of Stampin' Up's papers and ribbons. You know, Stampin' Up always, that's the big thing with Stampin' Up, is everything coordinates. So I'm bringing in the dark Blueberry Bushel, and I'm going to outline, and I'm going to go over the lines with the dark. And then I'm going to bring in the light, and I'm going to blend everything together. Okay, for the Old Olive, I'm going to start with the dark. I'm going to outline everything and then color in the, or draw on the lines. And then I'm going to bring in the light and just blend it all together. Okay, so that's done. So the Stampin' Blends, no special talent needed, really. They are very easy to use. Okay, so let's put our card together. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue all 3 of these pieces together. And there's a little border around each one. Okay, see how there's just a little border? And now I'm going to bring in our little squares that we cut with the perennial postage dies. And remember, these postage dies, they're versatile. They're perfect for any project. They complement a wide range of stamp sets. They're not dedicated to any one stamp set. They can be used to create a design like we're going to be doing today, or they can be used as a background for your stamped images. There's many squares and rectangles and all different sizes to mix and match. And as I've demonstrated in a prior video, don't forget that you can easily customize the size of these dies to fit your specific project. And if you happen to miss any of my videos, like I said, go back and rewatch it. And I do show you how you can cut the size down on the larger die. So on this one here, we cut this out and then I made it smaller. I actually made it into a square. So that's really easy to do. So again, these are very, very versatile. Okay, so let's start with this one here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to alternate them. And this, when I get finished with these, there's going to be a little fine border around all of them. I'm just going to glue them down. So if you're new to watching my videos are always very, very short, and I fast forward through all of the boring stuff like my gluing. So I'm going to glue all these on, but I'm going to fast forward, so I'll be done in a jiffy. So don't go anywhere. Okay, so I just met each of the little edges and just glued them on. There's a little border that goes all the way around. And we're also going to stamp on here, and I probably should have stamped it before I glued it down, but we're going to go ahead and do it anyway. And I'm going to stamp in Memento black ink, and I'm going to stamp hello there, just like that. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my black and white gingham ribbon. And I'm going to go ahead and put a piece around the card, and then I'm going to attach a little bow. So I have a little piece of ribbon here. I'm going to go ahead and just tape it on the back. So it's going to go right down there. I'm going to flip it over and just put a little piece of tape there. Just like that. Now I'm going to bring in another piece, and I'm just going to tie like a little knot here. You could tie a full bow if you'd like. Okay, now I'm going to bring in our stamped image, and I'm going to fussy cut. And then I'm going to attach it with dimensionals on our card. So again, I'm going to fast forward through this, so it'll be just really, really fast and quick. Okay, I'm going to lay this down. Okay, now I'm going to bring in my card base, and I'm going to pop this up right in the center of our card. Okay, for the inside, I have another piece of the Blueberry Bushel and the white, and I'm going to bring in my Memento black ink, and I'm going to use the sentiment for the birthday wishes. Sending you bunches of birthday wishes. How cute is that for the blueberry card? Okay, there's your first project. Isn't that darling? I love it. Do you like it? Go ahead and leave me some comments. Let me know. Sending you bunches of birthday wishes. I think it's so cute. Okay, so now we're going to make a tag. Now this tag uses, of course, the blueberry bunches. We're going to use the long stem blueberry for this one. And it uses lots of different dies. So again, I'm showing you how versatile all these dies can be. We're going to use the perennial postage dies. We're going to use the scallop contour dies. And we're going to use the tailor-made tag dies. Okay, so I got all my shapes already cut out. I used the tailor-made tags, the largest and the smallest, the perennial postage die, and the scallop contour die. This one is in boho blue. So I will have all of the sizes on my project sheet. You don't have to worry about that. And then I also have a piece of black that I cut out, and it's going to fit right there on that perennial postage die. I mentioned earlier in the week that I would show you a different way of coloring in the blueberries. So we're going to use our watercolor pencils. So this is a piece of watercolor cardstock or watercolor paper, and I'm going to bring in my Memento black ink. And I have that blueberry stamp with the stem on there, the largest of the blueberry images. So since it's a big stamp, I'm going to take the ink pad to the stamp. It's just a lot easier to do it that way. And I'm going to stamp my image on the watercolor paper. Okay, for my watercolor pencils, I have Old Olive, Balmy Blue, Night of Navy, and Early Espresso. And I'm just going to go ahead and color this all in, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so that's colored in so far. I don't need to color that one in, and I'll show you why in a second, but I wanted to show it to you before and after. So this is just colored. This is before I add any water. So I'm going to bring in my stamping blending pen, and I'm going to make sure that I've used this one before, so it's got a little bit of green on it. So I'm going to go ahead and color in or go over my leaves, and you'll see the difference. It just blends in all of that watercolor pencil. Can you see the difference between this one and that one? And if there's any white spaces, you just go over it and it colors it in, just like a paintbrush. Okay, now I'm just going to get the green off of here. And I'm going to go ahead and color in my stem. And then I'll get the color off of the early espresso, and then I'll color in my blueberries. Okay, I'm going to fussy cut this out really fast. Okay, so the next thing I did was I cut off the top part of this blueberry. I separated them. Just like that. And then I'm going to fit this one behind it. I needed a smaller image, so I just made it smaller by cutting it in half, but I still wanted that stem to show. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these two pieces together, and then we're going to go ahead and finish our tag. Okay, just a smaller blueberry bush. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp on here. The sentiment I'm going to use is "For You." I'm going to stamp that in the Memento black ink. I also forgot I need to cut out a little top for our tag, which comes in the tailored tag set. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that out with that little die. So that actually cuts out 3 at once, but I only need 1 for our project. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these two pieces together. And I'm going to glue these two pieces together, and it fits right at the bottom here. So the tag is going to go line up right at the bottom where the stitched lines are, just like that, and the hole is free up at the top. So that's how that's going to be glued together. Okay, now this piece I'm going to pop up on dimensionals. And that's where I put it, near the bottom, but not all the way down. Now I'm going to go ahead and glue our little tag topper right on the top of our smallest tag that we stamped on. And you know what? I meant to cut out the circle tag topper, so let me do that real quick. That's better. Let me show those dies really quick. So the tailor-made tags have two sets of tags, different sizes or different shapes. So they have this little angled, and then they have the curved one. So the curved one, I like the little circle tag topper on the top of that one. I think it fits really nice. And the other one is for the scalloped, or the straight edged tag. Okay, so we have that glued on. Now we're going to bring in our blueberry, and I'm just going to glue that on. So I just need to glue the center of the blueberry basically and put it on top of our tag. Now I'm going to bring in my linen thread, and I'm going to tie a little bow around the stem of that blueberry. And then our For You sentiment is going to go right up here at the top, and I'm going to bring in the black and white gingham ribbon. So I have about a 6-inch piece here, and I'm going to go ahead and feed it through that little hole. I'm going to make sure I have a nice point on the top, on the ends of my ribbon. I'm going to feed it through first the little tag and then the big tag. Okay, so it's through both holes, and I'm just going to bring it back and loop it and pull it through that little loop. I'm just going to tighten it. And I'm going to fix the ends of my ribbon on a little, cut them on a little angle. And there is the tag. Now on this one, I actually colored in the black and white gingham. I just used my Blueberry Bushel marker and colored it in, but I think I like it the black and white. I think it's starker. It makes it show up a little bit better. Anyway, you could do either way, whichever you like, but there it is. Isn't that pretty? So that's watercolor pencils. So let's bring in both projects and look at them. So the Blueberry Bunches stamp set, that's what we used to create this, and a lot of the dies, which I wanted to show that to you because they're so versatile. You can use them for more than just what they're intended for. They don't all have to be with the stamp that they come with. So I hope you got some ideas there. And here's our first card that we did the other day, a little bit of a fancy fold. So I hope you enjoyed the projects. If you're watching me live, go ahead and let us know where you're watching us from. And if you're watching me on replay, do the same. Just type in replay, and wherever you're watching us from, we'll give you a nice warm welcome. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe. Let me know how you like today's projects. Leave me some comments, and I will see you next time. Don't be shy. Stamp and shout.